After posting a video about shorts recently, I got a few comments from creators saying that shorts had actually ruined their channel. So I went down the rabbit hole of shorts will destroy your channel. Several people reported to have had quite a bit of success with shorts in terms of views and subscribers, but later saw a drastic decrease in the watch time on their long form content, causing their ad revenue to suffer. How could it be that getting more shorts views would actually hurt your channel? Well, let's talk about satiation. How satisfied is the viewer after watching your short? This idea might sound counterproductive, but stick with me here. If the viewer is fully satisfied after watching your short, what's to motivate them to click on your channel for more? Since we don't get much ad revenue on shorts, what are they good for? Well, I'd say marketing and exposure. Therefore, judging a short success based on views isn't the right way to look at it. What we need to do is convert that view into a subscriber and for that subscriber to see additional value in your long form content, since that's where the money is. If your short fully answers their question or tells a complete story, then that viewer is much less likely to migrate over to your channel page to watch more of your content. If you use that short view as a hook or a trailer for your long form content, then you're able to get real value out of that short by converting that short view into a long form view. So if your short merely tickles their taste buds like an appetizer and leaves them wanting more, then that's going to motivate them to click on your channel and watch additional videos. The problem I see creators fall into is that their shorts are more satisfying than their long form content, which it's easy to fall into because it's much easier to make a snappy highlight reel than it is to make a whole story engaging. Now, imagine you're in a theater. A trailer comes on for a new movie and the trailer's awesome, but in the trailer you see what all happens, who dies, and how the movie ends. How likely are you to go see that movie? Yeah, the trailer was awesome, but they ruined the buildup and the experience that you have when watching a full-length movie play out. That's something that we need to be conscientious of when we're making shorts. If your shorts satisfy their need to watch your long-form content, then your long-form viewers are going to convert to shorts viewers. And we all know that shorts don't pay the bills. So remember, shorts aren't about views. It's about marketing your channel so that you can migrate those viewers over to your long-form content. If we don't intentionally design our shorts to lead people to our long-form content, then we do run the risk of cannibalizing our current long-form audience as they find satiation in watching merely our shorts. But as long as you keep this in mind, no, shorts won't destroy your channel, but a poorly thought out strategy might. Now on to our second myth, which is shorts viewers don't have a long enough attention span for long form content. I keep hearing this over and over again, but I've got to warn you against categorizing your viewers into such a narrow binary. I ran a quick poll among our Channel Makers Insiders community to get an idea of how the average person consumes YouTube. What I found is less than 1% of people report to only watch shorts on YouTube. The vast majority of people report to watch mostly long form and some shorts. And then only 9% of people reported to only watch long form. Now, for the people who say, I only make long form content because shorts viewers don't have the attention span, you're negating 91% of the viewers on YouTube that watch shorts. My theory is that people's decision on whether or not to watch shorts versus long form is much more situational than it is a reflection of their attention span. In my poll, I asked when people watch shorts. And 34% of them said when they only have a few minutes to spare, like when they're in the waiting room or going to the bathroom. 13% said it's when they're looking for something new, which is super exciting for me as a creator looking to use shorts to grow. As a small creator, it's tough to get your titles and thumbnails in front of people until you start getting significant views. But using shorts, you're able to get your content in front of the 90% of people that watch shorts, which is a huge leg up. So as we can see here on this graph, the vast majority of shorts viewers are also long form viewers. We just have to make sure that our long form is as interesting as our shorts. So to reiterate, shorts viewers do have the attention span for long form content. You just have to earn their interest by making compelling content. All right, on to our third and final myth, which we're actually going to use Ricky's big brain and analytics to bust. All right, Rick, what are we looking at here?
We are looking at a graph, and the graph is showing the results of a study that I just did. So I did a study to replicate another study done by another YouTuber.
Okay.
And this study's getting passed around YouTube. You have other people interviewing, literally talking about these numbers, because it seems to definitively show that YouTube shorts that are shorter, that they get the most views. They perform better.
Okay.
My data set, which is about 10 times the size of that data set, shows the peak closer to around 12 seconds, the center of that peak.
Okay.
So what this graph is showing is the length in seconds of all the shorts that I took, and then summing up the total of how many views they all got. And That's the height of the bars, how many views they got.
Why is it that, say, 15 seconds would be so much, perform so much better than, say, 16 seconds? They're only 1 second apart. Like,
yeah, it seems
what
like
would
it's about
explain the
4
difference?
times as many views.
Yeah.
It's a great question. And it's the kind of question that we should all be asking ourselves when we see stats like this. Mm-hmm. Is there any logical sense behind it? So you could say, well, it makes sense that there's a peak around the shorter because human attention spans are short. That's the explanation given. But if that's the case, why do we have another peak out here at 59 seconds? In fact, in that study, it was the peak at 59 seconds that raised a huge red flag for me about that study. Because I know why you'd have more views at 59 seconds.
Why is that?
It's because there's a lot of shorts that are 59 seconds long. The reason for that is that you went to film a YouTube short. It was intended to be a YouTube short, and it ended up 2 minutes long. And you trim and you trim and you trim and you trim and you get it down just under a minute and you don't want to trim anything else and you're done. I've literally done that multiple times myself. And so a disproportionate number of my YouTube shorts are right around 59 seconds. So what that told me is that he summed up the total views, but what he didn't look at was views per video.
This graph is more or less showing the prevalence of a certain length of short instead of, say, the preference of a certain length of short.
Exactly.
Is that right?
It's not showing us that short shorts are preferred. It's showing us that there's a lot more of them. So the next thing I did with my data set, because since I actually had the data, I could look at all the numbers a lot of different ways, is I looked at the count. Not how many views the total views, but how many of each short there were. And it looks almost identical to this graph. Then what we had to do is actually divide by the number of videos at each length. That's going to give you a number that actually makes sense. And that number is the average number of views per video at each length.
Yeah.
So
that seems like it'd be much more relevant because you care about how many views your video gets.
I don't care if there's a ton of videos that are all about this same length as mine. I care how many views I'm going to get on my videos.
Right.
So let's see what it looks like when we look at the number of views each video actually gets on average. All right, here's that new chart.
Wow.
Now, statistically speaking, this chart is basically flat. When I run some statistical tests on it, even just doing finding the correlation coefficient here, I find basically zero correlation between the length of a video and how many views it's going to get on average.
So this is showing that the preference really has nothing to do with the length.
Right. Whether or not someone wants to watch your video has nothing to do with how long it is. I mean, like you don't know how long a short is going to be before you start watching it.
No, it just gets fed to you.
Exactly. And so it's not like we're hand-picking like, oh, that one's 8 seconds long, I want to see it more. But also this shows that the algorithm isn't purposely pushing those videos either. And if the algorithm's not pushing them, it also means that people aren't choosing to watch them longer. So like the algorithm chooses whether or not to push your short to more and more people based on how long people stay on it, what percentage of that video they view.
Yes.
So shorts that are 17 seconds long are not getting a higher view percentage than shorts that are 21 seconds long or 18 seconds long. It just isn't happening according to the actual data and what that actual data actually means. You can interpret data 100 different ways. You have to know what you're actually talking about and what you're looking at to be able to interpret it in a way that makes logical sense. And this makes complete logical sense to me.
Right.
There's no reason why 12 or 17 seconds should be preferred to 21 or 5 for that matter.
Right. It's not like there's some magical length that people are more likely to want to.
In fact, there is no magical length. So let's look at it this way. Let's imagine that there are only 100 YouTube shorts in all of existence.
Sure.
And let's say 80 of them are 10 seconds long. If we sum up the total number of views of all of our shorts, which short's duration is going to get the most views?
10 seconds. Because that's the majority of what's out there.
There's only 20 other shorts to be spread across all the other lengths. So of course 10 is going to get, that is literally the only thing that other chart showed.
Just showing prevalence.
It's prevalence.
Not preference.
Not preference.
Interesting. So what should the ideal length of a short be then?
The magical length of a short doesn't exist, and so the length actually doesn't matter, sort of. In fact, I think Richie said it best, and I think we should just let him say what the ideal length of a short should be.
How long should a short be? What's the ideal length to get the feed to show it the most love possible? And the answer is the same as for any video really, as long as it needs to be, but no longer, as short as it can be, but no shorter. If it's padded for no reason or cut to the point of being, people will lose interest or get frustrated and
So that's the
swipe out.
answer. Your shorts should be as long as they need to be, but no longer, and as short as they can be without losing any important story elements.
You just have to make your content engaging, keep the audience watching.
Exactly, that's it.
Well, that's it. Myth busted. Good job, Rick.
So if you want to see the data from this actual study, I'll link to it in the description. I also have another video that I made recently for this channel where I went into more detail on this study, where I got the data, how it worked, and other conclusions. So go check that one out. I'll put it right there-ish.
Right about there.